Hey everybody, going for happy Friday for you with Zodac from He-Man. Gonna swap this over to the page real quick, and then I got Brant tied down, so we're gonna go off and do for a timeline today, so that we can get this knocked out for his uh, last Ember card as well. Which here's Zodac and here's Ember. So you guys are going to get a look at that pretty quick right after. So hang out and we're going to have some fun with it. I'm going to grab the old pencil here if I can figure out what I did with it. And then we're going to start knocking this guy out because we got to get busy here. Yeah, I was going to be on a little bit earlier, but Mr. Todd, the Todd Father McFarlane, wanted to do a quick sketch, a live sketch, and I didn't want to lose a lot of my attendees because of the fact that Todd was on at the same time I was. Dude's awesome. I wish he would do some regular work though. He hides out on the King's Mountain at McFarlane Productions and doesn't quite do anything. I just noticed my hands are stained from pencil and ink dust where I was doing some graphite work earlier. So if my hands look funny, no, I'm not. I don't have any disorders or anything. It's just rough hands today. They're stained up. But so please excuse that. But yeah, it's pretty cool. I was working with some pencils and some graphite stuff and doing some new horror pieces, as well as doing some graphite dusting, which is a new technique for me. And I was checking some stuff out with some charcoal pencils and things like that. And it's been a blast. I've been busy today, but then I had to go and take care of some personal business outside of the office. Oops, I just streaked the card there. I'll have to erase that. But yeah, Todd was drawing Thor, classic Thor for Thor Ragnarok, which is this weekend. Opened last night. I haven't seen it yet, but got some passes sitting over on the desk, and I haven't gone yet. But I promised myself I would get to see it before too long. But I don't know. I've heard a lot of good reviews about it, but we'll see how that goes. And I'm not normally to jump right in at the premieres, even though we did get access to them a lot. Now, the reason I cut in on that, a lot of people are going to go, "You got to cross the line." I'm okay with that because I'm going to put in a drop shadow right there anyway, because I want this to look a little more rounded. This guy's awesome. He used to be one of my favorite masters. Of course, I liked a lot of them, but he was a true rogue warrior type because of the fact that when he came in, he was a king or something. I don't remember exactly anymore, but he was a king or a commander or something of his people that just were all these types of warriors, and they all wore these uniforms, and they almost had a centurion type of base to them, where it had a Roman or Greek feel to it in the way that they lived, in the way they did things. Might even go as far as to say that it was a Spartan type of thing. I mean, I think that's where they based a lot of that stuff off of anyway, with some of these guys. But we'll see. We'll see how it turns out. Don't know. But been getting asked a lot about the stuff I've got going on, and I'm still doing it every day. just got my new schedule put out for the rest of 2017 and 2018, and moved a bunch of stuff around. It's going to be fun. Now, I know that I put in for the last 3 months of the year to get a lot of things done, and I'm still going to do all that I've been talking about, but I wanted to move things forward a little bit and start knocking out a couple regular books a month again, since I work on multiple titles anyway. But now that I don't have that all that freelance tie down anymore, I can do more with it and start appearing and this, that, and the other. And I'm looking at getting into some cons after the first of the year. I'm going to start promoting a bunch of new stuff. And now that we have the new server set up, I can start doing the podcast regularly since I have that new format put together. I'm trying to remember. What was it? It's going to be January. I want to say January. I've got a new book coming out for you guys as well. That's going to be the reboot for regular Catman books. Since I postponed that because I got very, very ill last year. And that was a problem of mine due to an injury, a car wreck, and I messed up my back and my hand, and it took a little bit longer to recuperate. Nothing major. I didn't even tear anything. It just I jammed my forearm, and it took a little bit longer to recoup than I thought it was going to, which I don't talk about a lot about that in public. But what happened was the lady went through the intersection, and I had a straightaway green light, and she had one of those yield on green crossings, turn lane type things, and she plowed through the light and said, "Well, it was green," and at the time. And it was pretty traumatic for a little bit. I walked away without a scratch, and then about 2 months later, I had some aches and pains that just didn't go away, and that was part of that. And I ended up having a couple of injuries that I didn't realize at the time, but had to recoup it. That sucked. But finally, with all this freelance stuff out of the way, and now me getting back onto this and getting into the marketing stuff, I've got more time to where I don't have to do as much freelance to make all this happen. And since I've gotten more marketing clients and gotten back into away from behind the scenes, finally, which I know a lot of my fans have been asking me to quit hiding out and do more work, I've decided to do that, and things are looking up. So, but to answer the question, though, that I was originally going to state is, yes, I am working on comics. Yes, I am working on marketing. Yes, it's all coming very, very soon. You guys are going to get to see some of that this weekend, as a matter of fact. Some of the wonderful artwork, the magical world of art. Look, Mom, he makes comic books. I had one of my students ask me yesterday when I was going to put out the art course, because he's all excited about it. And he said, "Man," he goes, "I can't draw comics this summer if you don't draw it, man." He's a youngster and very animated and very adamant. And if I seem a little serious today, it's because I had to deal with some financial stuff at the bank and adjust some things. So getting things according to the bank. Getting things handled according to the bank. handling it accordingly. But had to be all professional and stiff upper lip and all that. Which cracks me up, because if anybody knows me, they know I went, I'm just like, just walking in a t-shirt and whatever I have on, jeans or shorts or whatever. Today it's happens to be long shorts. Just hanging out in the office drawing all day. Then had to go over there and get that done. I'm being very open today for some reason with all the stuff that I did behind it. I don't know. It's behind the scenes day, I guess. Let's see. We got rained on here last night and got our first taste of a winter frost, because it actually froze a little bit. It was a little bit of sleet mixed into it. It was strange, which is okay for this time of year. I mean, that's pretty normal here in Oklahoma. But yeah, that's something we didn't expect, because they said it was supposed to be raining last night, raining, and then I got up this morning and it was just that slick, muggy, nasty sleet type of drizzle, and very, very cold, very cold. But that's pretty much where it was at today. And I'll tell you guys, a lot of people have been asking me about the penciling that I've been doing for the pencil coloring, the colored pencil work. That's what I mean in reference to the penciling. For Lone Runner, it's coming along phenomenal. I right before the show, I touched on 5 or 6 pages and just did a bunch of spot colors. And I tell you what, I did more of those in the same time that I did a full page when I was coloring it digitally. And it looks a lot better because it's got that nostalgic look to it that I wanted, which is rare anyway these days, that hand-colored look, and it being done properly to where it looks like it was back then, instead of, being digitally remastered and jacked up, which I have nothing against digital coloring, and I'm not going to stop doing digital work, of course. That would be insane. But just to make a reference point to that, because I was asked about it earlier, yeah, it's coming along great. I'm really impressed with it. And I had to go buy some more pencils today due to the fact that I knocked out so much stuff. I had to go get some more blenders today to even hold up with what I was doing, because I ended up using up all my supplies last night. I was just like, okay, cool. I can do that. Yeah, I can hang with that. And I went through like 3 Prismacolor blenders last night for the pages, and I was like, I can have this book done in a weekend. Wow. And I may have it done by Monday. I'm hoping so. Then it'll go to the Kickstarter, and we'll go from there, because I've got this so heavily matched up, I may not even do a heavy Kickstarter like I was originally going to. I may not need to, but it'll depend on how well it opens up this weekend and how well you guys respond to it, because I know you want to get these cards, and that's the reason I want to stick to that, because I can use the funds to recover time and supplies and whatnot, and fulfill the orders and print the books and whatnot too. And I want to make sure that I don't end up, like I said, with that whole direct sales thing, because that would just suck. I hate the idea of that, and I don't want you guys to be involved with direct sales for promoting books, because that's really bothersome. Bear with me just a second. I'm going to change out this lead. Hey, Brant, thanks, man. I appreciate that. Just looked over at the comments while I was changing out the lead here. Yeah, I appreciate it, man. I feel way better. I mean, I haven't had any problems with it or anything weird like that. It was just some internal bruising that didn't show up till later. And like I said, I had a sprain in my forearm and didn't realize it. And that would be because I blocked the airbag to keep it from hitting me in the face. It hit me in the arm. So, and my poor little Sentra, man. I love that little car. And I didn't buy it new. I didn't buy it. You know, it was just a good used program car that I had gotten a couple years back, and it was a great car. And I'm not one to splurge on, you know, like new vehicles and whatnot, unless I absolutely just find something I'm in love with, and I haven't found anything that I like that much in the last few years, so I kind of stay away from that stuff. But yeah, man, it's just, that was a beautiful little car. That lady went through the light and she creamed it, man. She ripped the whole front end off of it. No, I mean, there was no stopping because I was going at the light. I hit it at the light, so I didn't have to slow down, and I was going 40, 45 miles an hour through there, and it just, boom. Yeah, it was a bad deal. So, but it is what it is, man. Life happens, and that definitely was one of those days. It hit me full force. Got to draw on this other segment here because he has 3 segments that go down his abdomen to his belt, and it's strange because they actually fit 6 of them, and they go right through. The belt goes right through the middle to strap it. So, but whatever. There we go with the belt. I'm going to black this out. I normally wouldn't black this out, but I'm going to anyway because of the fact that it is solid black and it just doesn't have, it doesn't look like him unless I do. So. But yeah, I appreciate that, man. Like I said, I'm over it. But with that, and then production people flaking out, and you know, artists using books, which is notorious in the industry. If you guys have never had that done yet, plan on it happening. Artists will flake out on you and use your stuff that they promote as part of their program for getting other gigs, and then flaking out on you. It happens all the time. It happens all the time. And I don't mean just rarely, I mean all the time. I see that happen about 2-3 times a year. I'll get an artist that'll just vanish on me. And I mean full on like ninja vanish type, like gone. If you've never had that before, I'll give you an experience story real quick that points out that how that can happen. Rod, the artist that was on Rod Isserlis, which was on Catman #1, Catman Evolution #1, because I didn't feel I was ready to draw it at that time because I didn't have the look in my style that I wanted for that book. And I hired him on to draw the book. He drew it all but the last 4 or 5 pages, which I filled in. And he just vanished on me. He sent me an email and said, "Sorry, Brad, got to go." I was like, "What?" He said, "I can't work on the book anymore." And I mean, he was gone. He took his email profile offline and said that he had to go to protect himself. Apparently he had witnessed something that's of a illegal type of situation and was a witness to it and had to go into hiding, from what I understand. He told me he was working with the federal government and in America, and down in Mexico, and then vanished on me. And I mean, literally, he was gone. He was like gone, like off Facebook, off Twitter, off DeviantArt, everywhere. The dude was gone. And then within a week later, his email just kicked back to me because he was on my mailing list for Catman, and I sent him a copy of it just to show him, hey man, I'm still gonna pay you with, what I owe you for the back end for your copies. And the dude was gone. And I mean, he demolished my art team because of the fact that he was gone and left us hanging. And it was just a couple of pages on the finish. But I jumped on board and finished it up and got it out there. It wasn't near as good as I wanted it to be, but it was. It did finish up the book, and it wasn't his artwork, on it, and it wasn't his style. But he told me to use the art, and that he appreciated it and wanted to work with me, and then just vanished and left me hanging. I was like, okay. And I had one guy move off to Germany. Another guy. Raphael, which was supposed to be doing Lone Rider, which was originally supposed to pencil that book, and while I was working on another project that I have, and he up and vanished too. And I mean, just gone, boom. He said, man, I'm moving to Germany, I can't do the book anymore, bye. And I was like, what? So I mean, I see that kind of thing all the time. That's why I say, that's why I won't pay full price up front, because of the fact that people flake out on you. Not that I don't trust the fact that they're good enough to do the work or whatever, and I'm willing to pay in part. It's just I pay in batches so that I don't get burned like that, because of the fact that I'm an independent, and people will flake out on you. I have no problem paying for what's done. I have a problem paying ahead of time for what's not. I mean, if you do the work and it's good work, awesome, cool, no problem. Yep, no biggie. But I mean, if you're not doing the work, then there's a big deal. There's a big deal at that point. But it just depends. But on the flip side too, I've had a couple of projects that I've had to come back out on because of the fact of, I've had 3 projects that I literally had to back away from and eat the overhead costs because of the fact that the creative team would do the same thing to me, the writer or whatever. And I'm not saying I'm a victim, because I mean, I quit on them because of the fact that I had to respect breach of contract. Because I've had writers and stuff come up, and go, hey, man, we're going to do it this way. And then they want to switch it, and then they want free work out of it or whatever. And then they don't want to compensate. And it's just, this whole industry is very fickle in that regard. And a lot of people just don't do that. But, it sucks. But life happens sometimes. And you just have to move on. That's part of business. You have to have a thick skin to work in this industry because it is tough. It is tough. Everybody's like, oh, you just draw cartoons. And I'm like, no. You don't even want to go there, dude. It's just like same thing in marketing. People scam you all the time. I've had clients charge back. That's hilarious. You'll do 6 months worth of work and they'll try to charge back, and then they'll threaten to sue you or blackmail you because of the fact that they want to keep their name out of it. They want to act like they're the expert that got them there, and you'll put them at the top of the rank kind of thing. And I'm not bashing anybody. I'm just saying this is experiences you have to expect in business. And what I teach in comics as well as in the marketing side of stuff, you got to keep your focus, because people will burn you. I have students burn me all the time and tell me, hey man, I'm going to take credit for your crap. Well, whatever. You won't be here in 6 months where I still am, so that's okay. But, and I'm not saying go bash on anybody and, point them out and point fingers and whatnot. You don't have to go that far, because I've seen people do that too. And it's stupid. Just don't get tied up in the drama. But, the point is, life happens, and I see that kind of thing all the time. You know, one day you'll be there on top, the next day you'll be underneath somebody's shoe from where they ripped you off, and you just have to say, okay, this is what I'm in. You know, this is the business I'm in. This is what I do. And if it eats you up, it's either going to do one of two things. It's going to chew you up and spit you out, or it's going to leave you given the will indigestion. You know what I mean? It just depends on how far you're willing to push it. But let's see what we can do here about getting on a cheaper point and finishing this up so we can get to Ember, because I really want to do this one. This character is going to be awesome. I'm in a very light mood today, even though I'm a little serious about this business stuff that I'm talking about. You know, with the scandals and all that, because that stuff gets pretty heavy, man. Where people come in and take your stuff and claim it and whatnot. You know, you got to protect yourself. NDAs, copyrights, trademarks, all that, business licenses, business claims, contractual agreements, all that. Get all that in writing. Get all that in writing, because if you don't, it'll bite you in the butt. And that's a technical term, by the way. It'll bite you. It'll bite you. Oh, look, his chest plate covers just enough, so no nurples. No nurples for the kiddies. Awesome. I think we're going to call this one done. I like it. It looks good. I've got this new lead in here. This is an HB lead. Somebody was asking me yesterday about why that's so dark now. This is just a finer HB lead. It's a 0.5, and it's a softer one. It's a new brand. It's a new version by the new consistency of Pentel. That's what I'm doing. I'm not promoting them. I'm not endorsing them. It's just what it is. Okay. I changed over from the other couple of brands that I use, and this one is just a softer, finer lead. They're using a lot better pieces now, a lot darker graphite in their HB. I don't know what they're doing to condition it that way, but it just comes off a lot cleaner and a lot denser than some of the other stuff. You know, you guys asked me what it is. There you go. That's what it is. So, but anyway, this is Zodac. Let's go over these couple real quick. Just to recap, there's Fisto, there's Buzz Off, there's Beastman, there's Triclops, there's Merman, and there is Trapjaw. Those are the villains that I've been working on and the side heroes for the Masters. I'm going to start doing He-Man, I believe, tomorrow. I'm going to start drawing on him this weekend, and then I'm going to do Skeletor. Whichever one I don't do tomorrow, I'll do the other. I'll do the other on Sunday. Okay? I'll do it on Sunday. That way you guys have it. But we're going to do Skeletor and He-Man this weekend. And these are going to be 4 big card pieces. They're going to be like the Mum-Ra piece. They're going to be Castle Grayskull and Snake Mountain behind them. So we're going to see how those work out. I hope you guys join me for that. Right next, in about 10 minutes, you guys are going to be able to see me do Ember, the last Ember book for Brent Fowler's Kickstarter. You guys can check that out, Brent, if you don't mind. If you're still on, buddy, post a link on that. If not, I'll post one in the live when we do it in a few minutes. And I'm going to knock her out real quick, and we'll go from there. But happy Friday to you. See you tomorrow. And if you're going to come on for the next live for the special, I'll see you in a few. There you go. Brant just posted it. If you're watching this on YouTube later on my channel, I'll post that link in the comments as well so you guys can have it when that goes up. And we'll go from there. But we'll be back in like 10 minutes for that card. So take it easy. If I catch you in the next one, awesome. If not, I'll catch you tomorrow. Take it easy.